Hello, everybody, and welcome to Flying with Angels special show for Christopher Reburn's birthday. It's Flying with Angels birthday special for a birthday bash. I am your host, Lindsay Harrison, and I get myself organised here. I've got caught up with my leads, so I'm so sorry, everybody. It was the excitement that done it. So, I'd like to just say before I go on with the show, unfortunately Rihanna has been unable to come to this show. She's very disappointed she couldn't be here today, but she will be at the next show, and we wish her well. She may well get here before the end of the show, but if she gets stuck in traffic, she won't. So she does send everybody her best wishes, and she wishes you a happy birthday, Christopher. And
that's so sweet.
I'll bring Christopher on in a moment, everybody. Before I start the show, I want to say our blessing that we always say. It's the Lord's Prayer translated from Aramaic into English. So if you just join me in stillness for that. O thou from whom the breath of life comes, who fills all realms of sound, light and vibration, may your light be experienced in my utmost holiest. Your heavenly domain approaches. Let your will come true in the universe. Give us wisdom for our daily need, and detach the fetters of faults that bind us. Let us not be lost in superficial things, but let us be freed from that what keeps us from our true purpose. From you comes the all-working will, the lively strength to act, the song that beautifies all and renews itself from age to age. As it is spoken, so it is, sealed in trust, faith and truth. As it is spoken, so it is. Amen. And I'm having a little chuckle there because I said the sealed in trust, faith and truth twice because I missed it. And normally I know this off by heart. Anyway, our special guest today, celebrating his birthday, is Christopher Reburn. For the past 20 years, Christopher Reburn has been on a timeless mission to help others. Christopher's first priority has always been, and will always be, to help others with his highly accurate and documented psychic abilities. Christopher founded the Psychic Spirit Organization for Psychic Insights, Spiritual Knowledge, Growth and Development in 2003. To date, Christopher continues to expand his spiritual mission, visions and gifts to help everyone within the universe who needs his assistance, and remains one of the strongest forces in the psychic, spiritual, metaphysical and New Age arena. Christopher is on a mission direct from God to help everyone who needs his invaluable psychic insights, intuitive guidance, spiritual counselling, powerful healings, and making contact with the other side. And with that, I would now like to bring on our very special guest, Christopher Reburn. Hello, Christopher, and welcome, and happy birthday.
Hello, Lindsay. Hello. It's so good to be back with you again. I'm so happy to be back with you again. Thank you for celebrating. Thank you for having me on to celebrate my birthday. Nobody's ever given me a birthday show before, so this is very exciting. Thank you.
Oh, that's what we like birthday shows here on Flying with Angels.
I do too. I think I'm starting to like them as well.
When we had Cathy used to do the shows with us, we used to celebrate a lot of people's birthdays, and it was always good fun. And if we could do it and make it a surprise, that even made it better. But yeah, I did invite you for a birthday show, so happy birthday to you. I just need to ask Angela, in the chat room we've got Simon and Angela Birds at the moment. I just need to know if I am breaking up. We've also got a guest who has said, hello all and congratulations to Christopher. And that's Margarita Manson. So that's nice. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, so Christopher must know you. So that's very nice, Margarita. And Angela or Simon, if I'm breaking up, could you please type in the chat room? Anyway, today, everybody, we've invited Christopher on to share his birthday, but he would also like to give away a few giveaways for everybody here. I'm breaking up. Right, okay then. I'm not quite sure what to do about my breaking up bit. So, breaking up just a tad. So I'm not sure why that is, Christopher. It's okay. We're supposed to be okay. So, going back, if I get worse, please could you tell me? Going back on. Yeah, go on, Christopher.
Well, it's probably just the spirits. It's probably just the spirits because they're so happy we're back together again.
Oh, well, dearie me, I did ask them to behave themselves. No, I didn't. I haven't asked them to behave themselves. Dear angels and spirits, please can you behave yourself? And dear Archangel Michael and Archangel Gabriel, our angels of communication, radio and writing and everything, please can you help the communication here go well, please? Thank you. Thank you very, very, very much.
That's right.
Amen. Yeah, they're here helping us. Anyway, that's thrown me right out. This was for later, but I'm going to say it now because it's in my hand. Right. This is in your book, Holidays in Heaven, Christopher, you said that people don't really need gifts because they can manifest what they want. So over the holidays, they write poems for each other, which I think is lovely because I'm always writing poetry and I write poetry with the angels, and now I know why. But this is a poem for you from a lady that is written by Nancy Tillman. It's called On the Night You Were Born. On the night you were born, the moon smiled with such wonder that the stars peeked in to see you. And the night wind whispered, life will never be the same. Because there had never been anyone like you ever in the world. So enchanted with you were the wind and the rain that they whispered the sound of your wonderful name. Heaven blew every trumpet and played every horn on the wonderful, marvellous night you were born. And that's a nice poem for you by Nancy Tillman, Christopher.
Well, that was a beautiful poem. That was lovely.
Yes, it is a nice one, isn't it? Also, with Christopher's giveaways I was talking about, he's given some giveaways for everybody here on the show today, and anybody that answered the Facebook questions correctly by 12 o'clock last night, to win a copy of Holidays in Heaven, his ebook, which is absolutely marvellous, or £10. Christopher's given £10 off of his a reading off of his website, and the details can be found on the show page here of Christopher's website. Would you like to say a bit more about that, Christopher?
Well, I'm just so happy to be back on your show again. And when we talked about this, I said, well, let's do something fun for the listeners. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to get all the listeners today, if they haven't already gotten a copy of my ebook, it's called Holidays in Heaven. And this book was really, this is the most revealing I've ever been, with such a personal struggle of losing my grandfather and then learning to find the will to live again. Because my grandfather meant everything to me. He was my father figure. He was my fishing buddy. He was my baseball partner. There were so many roles that other people in my life just couldn't man up to play. So he did everything pretty much. And so when I lost him, I felt like, I felt like 5 people have died with one person because he played so many different parts in every angle of my life. So I wanted to memorialize him forever in a work of art that will always be available for people to read, even when I'm long gone. You know, the ebook will be available forever. And that's why I done it in ebook form, because I wanted people to be able to read it immediately and not have to wait 3 weeks to get the book in the mail. You know, that's why we did it the eBay or the ebook way. And it's been tremendously successful all over the world. I've got interview requests from people that have read the book, and it's a short book, which is the reason why I only wrote about 40 pages was because I wanted people to read it and not get bored. You know, with me, if it's a 300-page book, I'm not going to read it. I'll get bored after 30, 20 pages. So I wanted people to be able to, people that are struggling with the loss of a loved one, I wanted them to be able to kind of read the book in about an hour and a half and then kind of, you know, work on their own healing, kind of bring themselves back, you know, to the land of the living again, you know, in such a spiritual way. So, and I think the book has done that for the most part. Everyone that I've heard has really, really enjoyed the book, and I'm very grateful to the people that have read it because it certainly was a labor of love putting together, and very emotional, very difficult. This time of the year is when I start doing more interviews to promote the book, because the promoting is very important. I always want people who feel they don't have any place to go or anything to do if they're lonely, read the book if you've lost somebody. And I'm not making millions of dollars off of this either, everyone. I mean, we've priced it at 99 cents because I wanted everyone to be able to read it. It's something that nobody has to save up for. And I'm just very happy with the way it's been received. It's about 4 years old, 3 or 4 years old. And I'm very proud of my little book. And my husband, Danny, helped me with the editing and helped me make sense of it, you know, putting everything together so it made sense. Nothing was repeated. So it was a wonderful, it just was a wonderful time to release that book. But I don't know if I ever want to do it again, because there's a lot of work that comes with promoting a book. And if you don't promote it, then it doesn't do well. You know, so there's a lot of work that a lot of people don't realize when you release a book. You've got to promote it. You absolutely, unless you're some super, you know, Stephen King or Danielle Steele or someone that everybody knows about, you know. So it's very difficult. But we've enjoyed it so much, and the fact that we've got so many wonderful reviews on Amazon and all over the internet about the book, and it's like I said, I'm just very, very happy with it. And I'm the one part that still makes me catch a breath is when somebody calls or emails me and says, I had somebody stop me just the other night and said, you know, this book, as simple as it was, really did help save my life. And this woman had just lost her father and mother in a car accident last Thanksgiving. So this is the first Thanksgiving and Christmas that she'll be without these beautiful people. So it's just amazing the people that find the book and then they'll email me or call me, and which I love. I love hearing feedback, even if it isn't positive. I love hearing everybody's feedback. And so yes, I'm very, very pleased, and that's why another reason why I wanted to come on the show today was to talk about the book, because I'm very proud of it, but I don't like plugging it or promoting it till it's nauseating. You know, sometimes people sell a book and all they do is promote it every day, and it gets so boring, you know, because it's so clear they're trying to make money. I'm not trying to do that with this book. Like I said, pricing something at 99 cents, you're not going to be a millionaire ever. But that was never my passion. I wanted to write the book for my grandfather, and I did. And I'm very, very, very happy with the result. Very happy.
Oh, good. I was touched by you talking about your grandfather. And I know when you're really upset, when I'm really upset, I've got a job to talk about things. So that was hard work putting that into that book, wasn't it? It was not something you would do lightly.
No, No, it wasn't. And I had a lot. Of course, my family supported the book, but I received no help from my family at all in putting the book together. Everything I did was from my perspective, but it was a tremendous. Everybody in my family was wanted to help promote the book, wanted to do interviews to help promote the word of the book. So I was very, very happy with that. And when I speak about my grandfather, I can do it now without crying. It was very hard, which is why the book was
I was just going to say that to you. I expect you cried doing it.
A lot of tears when it first happened, because I couldn't understand why did God take my grandfather on Christmas? Of all days of the year, why couldn't it have been on the Queen's birthday or Flag Day or just little erroneous holiday? It had to be on Christmas. And then I got to thinking about it and thinking, well, why not? What a beautiful day to die. What a beautiful day to graduate on Christmas. It's when most families are together. It's a period of love. It's a period of family time. What a beautiful day to pass away, But that took months for me to get that. And when he passed away in December, Christmas 2008, I didn't release this book until 2014. So there was a number of years that passed, because it was so hard to talk about it. And I couldn't speak about him publicly for about a year or two. People would ask, and I just shut them down. I just couldn't. It was very hard. And but over time, and writing the book and putting the book together, if I hadn't written that book was really, I did so selfishly, because the book really helped me heal, and I knew it would. I knew it really would. I never intended anybody to read the book. That's a true story. I never intended to even release this book. I intended to write a book about my feelings, about my grandfather, and give everybody in my family who's worth anything, there's a few people, not many, a copy of it. I never intended to write this book to put it out to the world. But after I had wrote it, after I had finished it, and Danny said, "Oh, no, we've got to get this out. We've got to get this released." So everybody who loves the book can thank my husband, because if it wasn't for him, that book probably would have never, ever gotten written. He really, every day he kept on me. He kept inspiring me to keep writing, motivating me to go deeper and to show people a rawness, a human rawness within, which is, how I was feeling at the time. So he was really very helpful in helping me to get this book done. It's not easy to write a book. People have no idea. You don't just sit down and write. It is a tremendous amount of mind and brain discipline to write a book. It's something that's a wonderful experience. But like I said, that's why I haven't released another one since then, because it's a big to do, and it's a lot of extra work.
Are you going to make it and do another one? I wanted to read more.
Yes, I'm working. I've been working on the last book for a couple of years. It's been start and stop, stop and start. But it's a book about soulmates, love and relationships, why we meet the people that we do, the people that come into our lives and we fall in love with so quickly, then they leave, and just different things, meeting a soulmate, losing a soulmate to death, what happens when soulmates cross over to heaven together or individually, how the other soulmate waits for the other one in heaven. It's going to be really a phenomenal book. And so much of what I'm writing about, I've never seen anybody else write about. I've never heard about it before. So a lot of the stuff that I'm writing for this has taken a lot of extra channeling and a lot of extra very specific visions, not just, oh, that was beautiful, that was lovely. No. I'm very, very, very specifics, which I've never heard from anybody else ever before.
No,
so
I'm
very excited to bring that.
And I've looked lots of things up. Are you still there, Christopher?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, you're still there.
Yes.
I think we've got a gap in time. Well, everybody, it is a lovely book. You can get it from Amazon, and it's a compassionate and heartfelt book which lifts the reader into the realms of heaven. Easy to read and understand, Christopher Reburn's book, Holiday in Heaven, brings a peacefulness that will help many who find the holiday season difficult after the loss of a loved one. Through his own experience, Christopher shares his knowledge of what heaven is like, which readers will find most interesting. And it did leave me when I wrote that, but it did. But when I went and looked at the reviews on Amazon, because I couldn't see any when I put mine on, they all said more or less the same thing. And you feel, just reading that book, you just are surrounded in peacefulness. You just feel so peaceful. And at the end, you sort of go, oh, that was nice. You know? And it does lift you.
And it doesn't take a lot of time.
No, no. And I thought, oh, that's nice, because I've lost quite a few people, and so's Rihanna. And you always think of them at Christmas. Well, I think of them all year round. But when you do a first Christmas or whatever, it's always, oh, well, they're not here. It's the first year is the hardest of all of them, isn't it? Because it's everything.
I think so, too.
We remember people all year and all Christmas, you know? And I found that helped me, Christopher, that book, you know, because I've just had a lot of anniversaries of people dying. And but reading that, I thought, oh, they're doing all right out there.
Oh, right.
You know, it just lifted me, left me very peaceful.
Well, yes. I'm glad. I'm so happy, and I was so delighted to see your review on Amazon and stuff. And there's so many other wonderful reviews on there that people have spent their hard-earned time and, you know, to leave a little note. And like I said, those are everything to me. When someone says good work, that means a lot. You know, I don't have the ego that says, oh, I'm wonderful, I'm perfect, I'm good. No. I don't think that there's any room for ego in spirituality at all. So when someone says good job, it's like, oh, yes, we're going to Disneyland. This is good news. This is great.
Right, excuse me, I've got to get a drink. I forgot to bring my drink in. Right, I'm going to put the headphones set down, Christopher, and I'm on camera. I'm walking out of the room, which is a no-no, really. But I've got to. It's probably where Spirit's near. Have you? Would you like to chat about something, or 10-year anniversary of doing the show?
Yes, it's 10 years, and I'm really, really excited about that, because when I first started my radio show, Conversations with Christopher, which is on Blog Talk Radio, and I'm doing a show today right after this show with Andrea Perrin, who's a dear, close sister friend of mine. And Andrea grew up in a haunted farmhouse in Rhode Island, and there was a movie that came out about her life about 5 years ago, and it was a movie called The Conjuring, and it was a very, very, very frightening movie of her and her family's paranormal activities at a very haunted farmhouse, which was cleverly disguised as a portal, as a farmhouse. So it's always good to talk with her. And 10 years ago, when I put my show together, they'd ask, oh, just do one. Just do one show. So I figured, okay, I'm just going to do a half-an-hour show one time only, and that's going to be the end of it. I never dreamed of having, you know, a weekly show. But then I thought, as we put the show together, and we noticed that the listeners were there, the attendance was there right from the beginning. So we weren't worried about that. It was just, looking back now, I'm amazed that we've been on the air for 10 years. I know that doesn't sound like a lot of time for some people who've been on longer, but 10 years and over 600 live shows over those 10 years and some wonderful guests, it's still hard to believe. It certainly has lasted a lot longer than I had intended. And it gets to be a big chore when you have a weekly show, a radio show, because you've got to come up with new topics all the time. And we've done topics on just about everything. So now I don't want to saturate. You know, I don't want to talk about the same things over and over and over again. So it's very challenging, but fun and rewarding to have a weekly radio show. Conversations with Christopher on blogtalkradio.com. And I have gotten many other offers to go elsewhere, but I don't make any money on my show, and I'm perfectly fine with that because I've gotten offers to go on other shows and be paid, but I always kind of go back to my original intention. And my original intention with this radio show was to have just an energy portal of immediate access to anybody anywhere in the world that can use their smartphone. They can hear me on their smartphone, their computer, their tablet, their Kindle, all those little devices that cost so much money. So we just keep going on. And I have some wonderful guests most of the guests that I've had on my show have been back many times. They love the laid back, but professional feel of the show. I never ask my guests to do readings because I think it's just a colossal waste of time. We have a lovely discussion on a spiritual topic or a paranormal topic, and we just spend a lot of time talking about spiritual development because I think that's the most important thing now with the way the world is going, for people to focus on their spirituality and not be so selfish about other things. Just focus on one thing at a time. And I think right now everybody needs to be more spiritual and to focus more on their spirituality more than ever before. I really believe that. And thankfully a lot of light workers are paying attention to that. And some people who are wonderful readers and mediums and healers have come back to me to even retake classes, the different psychic development and mediumship classes that I've helped them with before, and they're coming back to retake them, to redo them, to be even better. So there's just a lot of good stuff happening right now and more good stuff in the world that's happening. We just have to be positive because it's very difficult, very, very difficult to be positive when everything else around us is going crazy. But we have to stay positive. We have to, because there's a lot of reasons to be happy, a lot of reasons to be blessed, and we certainly are.
Yes, it's true. Yes, we have. The sound's okay now. Sound is sorted now, Simon says. And Angela says it's coming in great now.
Simon says.
Yeah. He'll like that, Simon. He's got a good sense of humour. He's here, everyone. Well, we started our show, Christopher. I started it originally doing readings, encouraged by Cathy, and then I gradually got more psychic and more better at it, and then Rihanna joined me, and we do them because there's always people that need a reading, and we do them for free. If Rihanna goes to fairs, she charges to cover her costs and that, but she gives a lot of her time, and with Rihanna it's more about giving the message than making money, you see. But on the radio shows, we do that. We do it for nothing, or somebody might email us and we'll give them a reading. And I've been doing it for 6 years in January, and it's surprising how that time goes through. But we've made a terrific amount of friends and know people from doing the shows, you know. And your show was the first show on Blog Talk Radio in 2009, I think it was, when I joined, or 2007. When did you start?
The very, very, very first show I ever did was on Conversations with Christopher on, it was April 7th, 2007. And that show is still on archives. People can still listen. I was very, very nervous because I had never done anything like that before. And it's a bit when you're doing interviews or being a guest because, you know, you don't have so much pressure, but when it's your show, your name all over it, it's like, this has got to work well, or this is going to fail. So, but everything did work well, and we immediately, after the first show, Blog Talk reached out and offered us guidance and help and said, what do you feel about doing an hour show? So we started doing an hour show, and then we started doing Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays, 3 days in a row, which is like, oh, this is becoming tiresome. I'm getting bored with so many shows in a row. So then we cut the schedule down because there was just no reason to have 3 one-hour shows every week. That was so much extra work for me, and it was way too much. So we cut it down. I had the option to quit the show, to cancel the show, and relive the memories that we had made, or continue on with a lighter schedule where I would have more creative control over topics, over everything, guests and everything. And I'm very, very happy with the way it is now. And so, yes, it's a fun show to be able to go on live. And I have a little bit of a sore throat. I apologize for any coughing, guys. But it's really fun to have a show, and I've had it so long now where people from really everywhere have commented on the Facebook page and through emails. 10 years is a long time, and 600 live shows, segments out there all over the world for people to find and explore and enjoy. And I hear from people. I heard from someone just yesterday that said, I just found your show, and I'm currently caught up to all shows up until 2009. So she says, I'm going to be spending the whole weekend getting caught up from all your recent shows from 2010 to current. So it's wonderful. I'm very grateful to the supporters out there that listen and pay attention and keep coming back.
Well, we're very grateful for you, Christopher, because you share such wonderful information, and you share it, and you have guests on sharing things. But you say it as it is. You don't judge where people are on their spiritual path, and you explain things really clearly, you know, and that makes such a big difference. If you you don't gloss things over, you say it. You have a way with how you talk about things that people can listen easily and think, oh, yeah, that makes sense. You know? Well,
that's and I've heard that before, and thank you for saying that. Coming from you, that means that's even extra special. And I try not to judge people. I mean, sometimes people make it very difficult for you not to judge them. But I try not to. I do try to understand that people are at many different places of their journey. There are many different locations, many different destinations, and that's good. And I think that's good. I think a lot of people are really concerned about their spirituality. A lot of people, used to be love and relationships, or when do you see me meeting a soulmate? Now it's more, am I on track spiritually? What do you see coming up for me spiritually? How about my healing gift? Is that becoming stronger? For the first time in ever, people are really becoming more interested in their spirituality, more than ever before, I think. And this is a good time to be focused on that. And with wonderful shows like Flying with Angels, that is geared to your continued spiritual development and welfare. Thankfully, there's this show that people can come to and listen to the archives and keep themselves up to date with everything going on in the spiritual arena. This is a wonderful show that you and Rihanna and Cathy have done and continue to do, and that's why I just love everything about the show, why you do it, and your reasons for doing it, which is why I will always come back whenever you ask. Oh,
thank you very much, Christopher. And you say that, you brought Cathy into the conversation. She's always here with us, and she helps Rihanna and I with the show. And Cathy Bradshaw, the founder, everybody, passed the spirit, if you don't know. It was on Good Friday the year before last. And at 6:50 in the morning, I do remember that. And this show we've carried on. She founded Cathy's Distant Echoes, and it used to be an umbrella of different shows so people could shine their light, and different people could put different things out out on the radio airwaves, so people could learn if they wanted to raise everybody's vibrations. And we are under that umbrella of Cathy's Distant Echoes, which we've kept going for Cathy, because Rihanna and I wouldn't be doing what we do if it wasn't for Cathy, you see. So in her memory, and we both thought a lot of her, and so do a lot of the people that we know and people that came to the shows before and had their own shows. We don't go to replace Cathy because nothing will ever replace her. She had such a big heart, but we just want to continue on with what she started, you know.
And it's beautiful that you do that, and I think she's so proud and so amazed as she can look back now and see the journey is continuing. The journey never ended, even when she graduated from this side. You know, I think she's so heartfelt. And very emotional at times when she thinks about the show and how far it's come and how far it continues to go. So bravo on continuing the wonderful work that Cathy, that you all began together and that you will all finish together.
Yeah, thank you. I'm reading the chat room here, but thank you for that, Christopher. Angela says, tell him, meaning you, Christopher, if you're not listening, tell him. I think it means tell the listeners. If you're not listening to Christopher, you're wasting your days.
That's Angela, and she is my historian. She is my virtual assistant. She is my booking agent, my promoter. She does everything on my Facebook. She's a wonderful friend, and she really does help in getting the word out.
She's been helping me out. So anyway, it's your birthday show. So let's go a bit lighter. Right. Now, I did a competition and only one person entered. But here's the questions, everybody. Now, I shall leave a gap before I give you the answers. The first question, as this should be a picture of Shiner coming up next. No, that's 10 years. Well, that's one question. How long has Christopher been on doing his radio show, Conversations with Christopher? And that was 10 years, right? And that's another picture is special guest Christopher Reburn. Now, what is, can anybody guess this? Please put it in the chat room. What is Christopher Reburn's middle name? Randolph, Robert, Ronald, or Ryan? I'll give you a clue. It begins with an R. Simon's put Ryan, and if anybody else...
I like that name. I think Ryan is a good name for a dude.
Yeah, well, perhaps it is your middle name. Yeah, so anybody else in the chat room, I'll go on to the next question while you can type in what you think it was. Randolph, Robert, or Ronald, or Ryan. Okay? And the next one was... Oh, there it is. I've got that beautiful picture of your dog Shiner, his eyes looking at me, Christopher. That's on the thing for the show. And it's, how old is Shiner? Is he 9, 10, 12, or 13? Right, so, and you, would you like to tell the story of Shiner again?
Well, it's really a wonderful story. Yes, I'm happy to. In fact, I had a friend that was looking for, they were looking to add a little puppy to their family and stuff, and my best friend's son just had a litter of puppies. So I'm like, okay, fine, let's hook them up and let's get them together, get them homes and stuff. Well, so I had always being the person to volunteer as a first responder, I immediately, got in the car, drove up 4 hours from Tampa Bay, Florida to the Tallahassee, Florida area, which is 4 hours. And I got there to collect the little baby puppy. Well, they had all went out into the woods for one more walk with their mother, which I thought was so symbolic because I felt like the mother dog, I felt like she knew that she was probably going to have to say goodbye to some of those babies today because they were being finding homes for them. So I feel like she took those babies on a one more walk together with all of their family before that happened. I always believe that. So the dogs were not there. I left empty-handed, had to go home without a dog, which was fine because the dog was not going to be for me. I was getting it for a friend. They couldn't make the trip up there. So they were traveling, and they said, well, could you watch the dog for maybe a few days? We wanted to go up to Williamsburg, Virginia, and see some of the old Colonial Williamsburg and all this stuff. Okay, fine. Well, a few days passed. They said, we've decided to go to New York and see a show on Broadway. Then we're going to go up to Canada for a while. We'll be gone for another week. Okay, all right. Well, I'll keep watching the dog of one more week. Well, then, this was getting real bad because I had fallen madly in love with Shiner immediately. So they say, well, we've decided to go all across Canada and then go down through California. Oh, snap. Snap, snap, snap. That was the end of that. I said, this dog's mine. I've fallen in love with him. There's no way I'm giving him. You just keep traveling all over the world. Enjoy your travels. This dog obviously means nothing to you because they kept adding on to their vacation. Let's go here, go there. Goodbye. So it was a wonderful story, and I'm glad that Shiner is still with me. And he's lived a number of years past his expiration date. And but I'm so glad that he's still with us. It's a gift that he's still here. It really is, because he's a lot older than most of his breed. So it's nice. I'm thankful every day that he's still here.
That's because you've given him such good care. Now, Simon has said your middle name is Ryan, and Margarita has said it's Robert, and Shiner, according to Simon, is 13. And according to Margarita, is 11. So would you like to let us know, what is your middle name?
We have winners on all sides of the fences today, I think. Well, Shiner is 13. He'll be 14 in January. Well, I believe Simon got that one right. And
That's
then
right.
What was the other question?
The other question was your middle name.
Okay, and then Margareta... she got that one. That's little Anne Manson from England, Margareta. So yes, that's correct. So they each got one. Isn't that exciting?
Your middle name is Robert then.
It is Robert. It is Robert. And the thing is, when I was in school, I was never bullied. Really, I think the kids were kind of scared of me in some way. But the thing of it was when Christopher Robin and Pooh Corner, Winnie the Pooh and Christopher Robin. So that got around a little bit, but I shut that down immediately because I didn't care for it. But that was, of course, a Winnie the Pooh reference. But Christopher Robert, that's my first and middle name that my mother gave me at birth. I didn't choose either of the names. I don't like my last name. I never have. But like I said, you don't get to choose everything.
No, you don't, do you? Now, another question that I added, Christopher. I would like to say that Becca Walters, our friend Becky, couldn't be here today, but she did get she wanted to be here. But she had an appointment. She got your question right that I asked, which was, how long have you been broadcasting your radio show? Which was 10 years, and we've talked about that. And she, I shall arrange for her to have a copy of your book as a prize, because there is a reason why she can't be here, and she wishes you happy birthday, and she's disappointed she can't be here. But I don't know about you, Christopher.
We'll send her a lot of extra. We'll send her a lot of extra love, and also to the listeners. Everyone listening today, we've got about another 40 minutes of this show before the show ends. So those of you that would like a free copy of My Holidays in Heaven ebook, please send how do you want to do this? Send Lindsay an email or something on Facebook, and then you'll get the information to me, and then we'll process those requests later today. But those of you that want a copy, you have to acknowledge that during the live show. Okay, it's live show only.
I did put this on the Facebook ad, but people can either email me at IntuiTalks. If you click on Cathies Distant Echoes, you will get a thing to say message. If you're not a member of Cathies Distant Echoes, then the best thing would be to contact me via my Facebook page, which is Lindsay Harrison at Eastleigh, and you'll find me on the adverts for the show. I have a group, Flying with Angels, on Cathies Distant Echoes I help out with. So just type in Lindsay Harrison and it will come up Southampton. It's because there's about 300 Lindsay Harrisons. And my profile picture is a picture of me and my daughter. So yes, so just message me on there. But you should find me, because you'll see when you go onto my page, you will see an event for this show. So yes, so there we go. That works out all right for everybody. I've made notes anyway of we've got like Simon and Margarita and Angela. I expect she's got a copy of your book.
They might all have. The two of the three might already have copies. So that's good. That's good. I'm very happy to everyone who's listening today, and hopefully the show is fun for you all listening as well, because Lindsay put so much time and effort into this show and putting everything together. And thank you for that as well.
Oh, thank you. You're welcome. We like to have a bit of a party, as Simon will tell you, and we like to promote different things, books and spiritual things, and just have a good old chinwag at the same time as doing what we do. Mm-hmm. You know, we like to think of the people that come to the show as a big family, you know, and have a family atmosphere.
Well, sure.
We're cutting out again. I just made arrangements so I can be here for the whole show now. Oh, that's wonderful, Angela. I hope, I can't hear us cutting out. I hope that it's settling down again. So we're just taking pot luck with this, because I can't do anything else to make any sound changes to it. So let's hope it just goes all right, Christopher. Fingers crossed.
Oh, it'll be fine. It really will be as good as it's meant to be.
I've got to believe in my angels.
We have nothing to worry about.
No, I've got to believe in my angels. I do believe in my angels. Our angels, everybody's angels. And I've had a lot of help this week, everybody, from Archangel Gabriel, who I will just mention. Archangel Gabriel's day is a Friday, according to like Diana Cooper, and Monday, according to the Essenes. They do it by astrology. Now, Archangel Gabriel, he is the angel, he or she, because Gabriel is very feminine energy, and Gabriel will appear to you as the energy you need. So if you need some feminine energy help, he will come as a female, Gabriel. And if you need the masculine side of him, he will come as Gabriel, the man. So it all depends on what you need as to how you see Archangel Gabriel. Archangel is the Archangel of Joy, Lily of Love. That's what she's telling me. But she helps with communication and also writing, radio, television, and anything to do with getting your words out there. I've got to bring Archangel Michael in now, works very closely with Archangel Michael, and Archangel Michael, he helps with communication as well because his chakra is the throat chakra, which is turquoise, and lapis lupus is his stone, one of them, and blue lace agate. Now, Christopher, I don't know if you have any crystals with you, but if you have a blue lace agate or any blue crystal, if you carry it around with you, it will help your throat and any issues you've got with your chest. And I've done this when my friend had a cold and she had a bad throat, and we were sat here talking and we gave each other a bit of healing, and she was told by Spirit to pick a blue crystal. Anyway, I went and found some crystals, and she picked my blue lace agate, and we went off to see a show in a theatre down Southampton, and when we came out of the show, although it had been hot in there, when we came out of the show and we got home, her sore throat had more or less cleared up and she didn't have a cough anymore. So that's how I know that works, as well as a little help from Jesus and Archangel Raphael, who are here today. So, everybody, I'd like to, today we've been saying happy birthday to Christopher and talking about his book. Now, another question I asked was, what is the name of Christopher's book? Can you remember after listening to this show? We've talked about so many other things. Is it Holidays in Havana, Holidays in Hawaii, Holidays in Honolulu, or Holidays in Heaven? And Simon has put in the chat room, it's Holidays in Heaven. Well done.
Well, actually, it's Holidays in Havana. We haven't released that version yet, though.
It isn't, is it? No, it's not. You're pulling my leg. You've got to go and experience the Holidays in Havana. Yeah, is that a film?
I guess so.
Oh, dear. Yes, anyway, so I'd just like to say now, whenever I know I don't need to tell you, Christopher, your grandfather is here with us for this show because he's with you. I just know he's with you and he's with us for the show, and it's talking about him. Now, a question we had that involved your grandfather was, what sport did Christopher enjoy with his grandfather? Was it fishing, golf, baseball, or roller hockey? Now, I'm waiting for Christopher to tell me it was roller hockey. I really am.
Not in this lifetime. My body balance, I can barely chew gum and talk at the same time. I don't have great body balance. So that would be something we'd have to film for YouTube, because it would be absolutely a comedy, I think. But I did learn how to rollerblade, but it took 6 months. 6 months. But the answer to that question, actually, there's two answers that could be passable. So we'll have to just wait to see what people say, because two of those answers that you read would technically be correct.
Well, Simon has put fishing and Angela's put fishing. But I would say the second one perhaps was baseball.
Well, it's not roller hockey. Let's put it that way. Yes, it's baseball. It really was baseball. But it was a little bit different kind of baseball than we would probably know of today, because my grandfather would throw the ball as far into the field as possible, and I'd have to go fetch it. So it was probably more like a game of fetch, fetch. But it was baseball. It was an actual baseball that was being used.
Yeah. So that's fun, isn't it? Christopher, are you moving your phone around?
No.
Oh, because I noticed as you were talking, you were breaking up. It could just be that. And I'd like to just welcome Becca G. She's actually got here, Christopher.
She's here.
And she says, happy birthday,
awesome.
Christopher. And hi to everybody in the chat room. So that's nice. Yeah, so that's
yes.
nice.
Hello to Becca and everybody listening today. Yes, that's awesome.
Yes, and to everybody listening that's not in the chat room, thank you so much for coming to the show, and I hope you're enjoying it. And I'm now changing the picture from you and Shiner to one of Cathy, Rihanna, me, and you in a square with lots of balloons. I think I've shown you the pictures, haven't I?
Yeah.
And we're having a great, great party time.
Yes, we are. And that picture that you're talking about, the one with me and you and Rihanna and Cathy, that's one of my favorite pictures.
Oh, that's
because it has us all together, and it's a beautiful picture. It's one of my favorites.
Oh, lovely.
And I just know that...
Not the first one.
Yes, and I just
know
the
birthday one that says Happy Birthday ×4.
Mm-hmm.
It's got Happy Birthday on it, but I know you like the first one, the original one that I did. Christopher, Daryl, Angela Bird's 3-year-old son, he's singing Happy Birthday to You at the moment.
Oh.
Isn't that nice?
Isn't that sweet? Send a video. Have her make a video. That's so sweet. Somebody sent me a video. So one of my dear friends, Emma, who is, you haven't heard of her yet, but you will. She's an up-and-coming actress in Australia. And she sent me this beautiful video. It was only about 20 seconds, but it just said, "Have a wonderful birthday, Christopher, and lots of love and hugs." It was so pure. It was so beautiful. That was one of the nicest birthday gifts I got, was that video from Emma. So like I said, I'm a simpleton. I like the simple things. I'm never impressed with expensive gifts or meals. Or no. That's for people that have something to prove. I am very simple. Danny knows that when it comes to giving me Christmas presents, or a card is fine. A little verse of poetry is perfect for. I don't require much of anything. I like keeping things simple. It's the little things that give me the most joy.
Yes, that's nice. You come from a very nice place. You have a very nice energy about you, Christopher. And it is the little things that matter, because when everything boils down to it, it is the little things that matter. So
Right.
I'm just going to see what else I've got. Yes. Did you know? Can anybody tell me, when I find the piece of paper it's written on, can anybody tell me the records that were #1 hits the year Christopher was born? May I say when you were born, Christopher?
Sure, tell them. I have no secrets. We can talk about anything. I have nothing to, like I told you to begin with, ask me anything, because I don't believe in questions that are not allowed. Any questions, all questions. Nothing to hide.
Right. I looked up, Christopher was born in 1979, and I looked up the records that were #1 on the US Billboard and also the UK charts. And when you were born, Christopher, in America it was the Eagles, and I've got it written here somewhere. I've lost it. It was, perhaps it's in my diary. It was the Eagles. I can't remember what it was called now. But the English one was. I've got my big book here. The English song, which I do remember, was When You're in Love. Dr. Hook, When You're in Love with a Beautiful Woman. Do you know that one, Christopher?
Well, honestly, I can't say that I do for a number of reasons, but I'm sure it's a wonderful song.
I can sing it to you. When you're in love
That's okay.
with a beautiful
I'll research
woman.
it on YouTube after.
Yeah.
There you go. You have you have a Sarah Brightman soprano in your voice, I think.
Do you think so? Oh, I tend to be a bit deeper. Yeah, I'm a bit. I have a deep voice. Countdown to record. Well, do you know, I don't know where that's gone to. Oh, the Eagles song wasn't Hotel California. Do you know that is...
Yeah, Hotel California.
Yeah,
and there was a lot of number one songs, a lot of number one hits in 1979. My grandmother years ago sent me a card with all the number ones, and I remember Donna Summer, of course, who's passed away.
Oh, I like
she was
Donna
a wonderful singer. I got to meet her a number of times in Clearwater, Florida. Her song, Bad Girls, was number one right around the time I was born, as was Rod Stewart's song, Do You Think I'm Sexy?
Oh, yeah, we know that one.
So, yes, those are. There's a lot of different ones and stuff, but I'm just glad to be alive. I don't really care. I love music. These are all good songs, but I'm just glad to be alive today. You know, it's all good. I'm very happy. You know, when I was born with cancer, so I immediately, right out at the gate, I had to fight to stay alive, and I'm glad I'm alive. I'm very, very, very blessed to be still living, and I'm just very, very grateful to be here today, to be anywhere today, and just sharing this time with you and your listeners and with so many other people listening. With, of course, we know Becca is listening, and Simon and Angela, and many other people. And I'm not in the chat room, guys. I don't play with chat rooms, so I'd rather just focus my time and energy 100% on the interview, not reading through comments. So thank you for not minding about that. But yes, well, I'm very happy to be alive.
The thing is, we used to do like radio, and now we're doing like on video. But there are many people that listen that we don't realise listen. And when I look at the numbers, I think, oh, crumbs. So to everybody that listens to the archives or who's listening now, thank you so much. I'm glad you're enjoying the show. Please come back another time. I know Christopher will be back. Becca says, my birthday message for Christopher, perfect timing. This is the right time for you to move forward, Christopher. That new project is ready to join you. So there you go.
Well, thank you, Becca. Thank you for the support and friendship. She's one of my newer friends that she just got linked up to me on Facebook about maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. I keep track. Everybody that follows me, I know something about. Either it's something that I remember from a phone call or an email reading. I always try to remember a little bit from every person, because every person that backs me is my hero. I mean, every person that supports me is a friend, not a fan, is a family member, you know, literally. So I always try to keep track, and I always like to do shout-outs to everybody to make them feel that they are important, because they are important.
Well,
and some people don't have anybody in their life to tell them how important they are.
That's right. You never know who. It could be somebody listening that is on their own all day, and your show or our show might just pick them up just for that little while, you know, and you'll have a regular listener. But we'd like to, we've made a lot of friends through Flying with Angels, and we like to think of people as family, as one big family. And Cathy always used to say that as well, that if you come to the show, you're like part of the family, and it's nice because people are welcome and they respect each other in the chat room, and you get a good response. We don't have trolls. We don't tolerate trolls. If anybody comes trolling, they get booted out. They get 3 warnings and get booted out. But
I like a good troll every once in a while. I like a good troll every once in a while. Just let them have a little information, and they'll bury themselves and humiliate themselves in front of everybody.
Oh,
so
yeah,
I never
that's
mind
right.
a good troll.
Yeah. But with Blog Talk Radio, we were on there, now we're on Chewy Talks, of course. We've learned so much over the years. You know, it is just absolutely amazing what we've learned, and you learn to be laid back about things rather than get upset about something. You know, you learn to be more in control.
Right. The power of the vocabulary is profound to some people. I mean, people can walk right up to someone and say, oh, but most of the trolling is done online through Twitter and Facebook because these morons would have they wouldn't have the talent to bring this into a reality sense, like right to your face, say the same things they can say. It's easy to type behind a computer. The internet, and my grandfather used to say, the internet is the home for the small-minded. And in some ways, he's right. In some ways, that's correct, especially when it comes to, trolls and people like that. But even speaking of trolls and skeptics and stuff like that, I really don't mind them because in my definition, a lot of these people are on the cusp of becoming a believer. They haven't had all the experiences that you and I have had to know, and there's jealousy there because they haven't had those experiences. And the people that are the biggest skeptics, I believe, are the biggest believers. They just haven't had the proof. They just haven't had the experiences that other people have had yet, and then they're there. I've had a lot of people that have been skeptics that I've crossed over into believers just by having them be quiet and listen to the silence, listen to energy around you, listen to what comes through from spirit and the angels and otherwise, So I think everybody has a message and everybody's voice should be heard. But if it's not respectful, then they lose the right to use their voice. If they become a troll or if they become a bully, then they lose the right to use their voice, as far as I'm concerned. A voice there's many people in this world that cannot talk, that do not have the ability to speak. And I have spent time with one particular person, and I can tell you, every word that I have spoken since then, I have been blessed. It has been a blessing because not everybody can speak. And when you spend time with people that don't have the ability to speak, suddenly the words that you choose are all different going forward. You start appreciating your voice and using it correctly. But some people, it takes them a long way in life before they finally feel comfortable in their own skin to where they can do as they say by their own rules, if I want, when I want, how I want. So there's a lot of people that it takes several years to get there. But once you're there, you know it. Once you're there, you feel it.
Yes. Yes, I agree. It does make you think twice and look at life differently when you come into contact with people that haven't got particularly the skills or the basic skills that everybody else has, and it does make you look at life differently. So, is there anything else you would like to say? Can I just say, I'm going to bring this up, right, because you brought it up, because I think it's wonderful. Could you say something about you having the cancer? I know you haven't talked about this before. I find it very difficult to talk about cancer, but you were born with cancer and you had an operation and it was cured. But your life is so very precious, and I feel that for people that have got children with cancer or that are born with cancer, you are a great help to them to know that you survived that you survived and you have grown up into a nice young man and with a career and everything, because it's very upsetting and daunting when you have a child with an illness and you don't know which way things are going to go or what's going to happen. But you are like the proof in the pudding. Is it the proof in the pudding?
Proof is in the pudding, and that's I guess you're right. I guess you're right on that level. Yes, because my mother and my grandmother thought for sure that I was going to die. My mother and grandmother thought for sure that because when the doctors told them the news, it was very bad. I mean, it was horrible. And I was born in November 1979, and then my cancer surgery was in April of 1980, so I was only about 5 or 6 months old when the surgery took place. And yes, it was successful. And the cancer, thankfully that was very successful. And, I'm still alive, still working, still walking, still laughing. And so it was just stunning at the time, because there was dozens of doctors and specialists in the operating room, because they had never seen a child have the cancer that I had at that age, and to have the operation so young. Many of the specialists in the operating room that day had never seen anything like that before in their entire professional career. So they people from New York, from Boston, flew in to just be in the room, to be in the operating room, to learn about this, because it had never happened before, quite like it happened to me. So it was a lot of, I feel like that the purpose of that may have been to encourage the knowledge in other doctors, to reinforce their knowledge in cancer and different surgeries for children. And I like to think that could have been, for some of those doctors, a starting page in how they would treat this situation, if, God forbid, if it ever happened to anybody else again.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. And things have improved so much more now to when you were born.
Right.
And you're like a walking miracle, Christopher. So I like to say things like that to people, because people don't always realise the effect they have on other people, and that there is hope. You've given a lot of people hope. And I know you haven't spoken about having cancer on air before, and I think that's it's very good of you to explain to people. I know how the angels work, and I feel your granddad is chuckling away here. I know how the angels work, and I'm sure there is somebody listening to the show, or that will listen to the show, that needs to hear that message from you, and to know that there is hope, and things can work out well.
That's correct. That's correct. And I think the reason why my grandfather was chuckling now was because he probably remembers the pajamas with feet that he sent me after my operation, because he couldn't be there at the time. He was in the armed services and stuff. He couldn't be there for the surgery, but he called every minute, and they finally told him, please, we need to keep this line open. We will call you as soon as we know how Chris is. So it was miserable for him. It was absolutely miserable that he couldn't be there for the surgery. But he bought me these pajamas with feet, which I guess are still popular with children, babies and stuff. And we joked about that later on in life. But I could never talk about the cancer with my grandfather. He never wanted to talk about it. He never wanted to revisit that. So,
very difficult to go there, whether you are a close relative or whether you've had cancer. Very difficult to talk about when it is personal to you in a way, like it affects your family, So, and some people can talk about it and some people can't. You need to have a drink, Christopher.
I've had a drink. I've been suffering with this sore throat for 3 weeks. Oh. It'll go away when it's intended to go away. But no, that's why I don't have a problem talking about anything. The people that come on, and I've had different people I've had on my show before, and then their agent has sent me scripted questions. Oh, you can't talk to them about. Goodbye. I don't want you. No show. Bye-bye. I don't want the show now. I've canceled people before who refuse to talk. If you can't have an honest talk with somebody, why bother? So my philosophy is there's no stupid questions. Everything is on the table. Everything is up for discussion. I don't hide behind the wall. I don't hide behind the door. I have an office door an open door policy all the time for everyone. And all I ask is for respect and patience, because I give that immediately, and I expect that in return. And I think that's very small requests, to make. I think that some people can be very, very difficult, which I don't even play with those people. if there's no respect or there's no patience, then I don't want you.
No, yes, I can understand that. You don't, do you? You know.
No, and I have no problems in saying that either.
Yeah, no. Yes, I quite agree with you on that, because people would just take you for granted and then just disappear, and also they would probably enjoy putting you on the spot on and try catching you out, you know, just to see if you were willing to talk about whatever. But yeah, anyway, I enjoy conversations with Christopher, and I enjoy listening to you as well. And this is your birthday show, so I'm going to do a very quick meditation for everybody, and for everybody in the chat room, okay, if you don't mind, Christopher, and for you. It's only a quick one. Is that all right?
Sure, of course.
Right. I want everybody to just close their eyes a moment and take a deep breath and bring it down to your heart center. Take 2 or 3 breaths and just relax yourself. Now, in your mind's eye, picture on a plate your favourite cake. A piece of your favourite cake for you to eat. Do you not eat cake, Christopher?
Oh, I eat cake.
Right.
Angela will tell you I eat cake, and she's not lying.
So there you are. Hold your hands out, your hand out to take the plate, and with your mouth, taste. Your taste buds are tasting this lovely cake. It might be chocolate, it might be lemon, it might be a profiterole, it could be something, carrot cake, whatever cake you like and whatever you enjoy. Might not even be a cake, it might be your favourite food, like a bowl of spaghetti. Smell it, you can smell it, and take a small bite, and as you take that bite, taste it and let your taste buds, let it melt into your mouth as you enjoy this cake. And that is a gift from me for Christopher's birthday party.
What a beautiful gift. What a lovely gift.
So I
what
hope
a wonderful gift. Thank you.
Hope you all enjoy your cake. Now, can we all please raise a glass to Christopher? Close your eyes again. And you are holding a glass of some sort. It could be a flute, or a whiskey glass, or a wine glass. A pint of beer, a pint or lager, I don't know what you drink in America, a pint glass, and we are all holding that glass up now. I'm going to do this with my cup, which has got an emoji on it, with a kiss, and I'm going, cheers. 3 cheers for Christopher on his birthday. Hip hip, hooray, hip hip, hooray, hip hip, hooray! And thank you very much,
was so sweet.
For coming.
And suddenly I feel completely full. I don't feel hungry anymore. So it must have been that large frosting-covered side piece of cake that I just devoured that you sent me.
Oh, that sounds nice. Yeah. So, and if everybody in the chat room that can type, could you type in the cake that you had, so that I can pass that over to the listeners, and I hope everybody had the piece of cake that they enjoyed. And if they can't eat cake, perhaps you would like to have do that visualization with cheese and crackers, or cheese and wine, or port and wine. I've done it with a cup of water.
Everybody eat cake. And to all my diabetic friends out there, eat cake. Eat cake, eat frosting, live your life, love your life. Because I'm telling you, it's just people, when they become diabetic, they have to, you can't have this, you can't have that. Everything in moderation. You can still have sweets.
My husband has diabetes, And you can have it in moderation as long as you don't go over the top. But you just have to be careful with it. But he likes cake, and we have our birthday cake here from the Alice in Wonderland film. You know, very merry unbirthday to me.
Oh yes.
To me.
Oh yes.
And so we have an unbirthday cake here. But poor Angela, I'm sorry. That's not a very good visualization. I didn't get any cake. Christopher ate it all, she says.
Well, she's right. I can't fault her for telling the truth.
Well, you'll have to picture another one then, Angela. And probably your son will come and take that, you know?
Yes, that's right.
Yes, but that's a nice visualization. I'd like to also say, going back to your book, Christopher, going back to Holidays in Heaven, everybody, which is written by Christopher Reburn, and going back to his book, in the back of it, he adds a meditation, which is very similar to a meditation that I used to do, and it is a wonderful way to add to the book. It's a lovely meditation, and you are filled with so much divine love and light. It is really nice, and it's a meditation that Christopher does, that Christopher talks you through, that is easy to remember, and you can apply it again at any time. So I do recommend that you get a copy of the ebook, Holidays in Heaven, because it will really lift you, even if you haven't lost anybody, even if you haven't got anybody over the other side. It's still interesting to see what the angels get up to at Christmas. You know,
oh, it is. It really
Christopher puts in these smashing snippets, and of course everybody wants to know what it's like in heaven. So, yes, but this meditation is very good. And I'd like to say, Christopher, I don't know if I told you, your meditation is similar to one that I do. You know, I think I did write to you about it. But I'm not going to tell people what the meditation is, because I'd like you to read the book, because it really is a beautiful book. So, yes, and Christopher, you like meditating, don't you?
Oh, it's my, I mention it so often on my radio show that most of my listeners, it's called the infamous M word. The M word is what we call it, because I mention it so often. I think that there is tremendous healing balance in meditation. I know firsthand. Meditation has brought me down from panic attacks, from anxiety attacks. It has helped me think clearer. It has helped me to see what's behind door number 1, door number 2, door number 3. It just, meditation is everything. And I think meditation has got kind of a bad rap over the years, because some people believe, you've got to have a half an hour or 2 hours or all weekend to meditate, and people don't have that kind of time. So there's just a brief meditation that I give, which is what I call the clear in and clear out meditation. It's just lowering your head and doing some breathing exercises and trying to feel a little bit more comfortable with you, and just breathing in silence for just a few moments. This can be done in 30 seconds, in a minute or two. So those of you that feel that you don't have enough time to meditate, find the time, because there is time available. I just did yesterday. I sat down with a woman who said, I don't have time for anything. So we looked at the schedule, starting from when she gets up until when she goes to bed, and we were able to decipher that if she spends 12 hours less a day on Facebook, that she might be able to meditate. I am really, really good at putting people on schedules, because my life is, I live my life on a schedule. So I am really good at putting people on schedules. And it's the process of elimination. Write everything you do from the moment you get up to the moment you go to sleep. Write everything down on a piece of paper, and be honest with everything that you do, because some people don't want to put, I go on Facebook for a few hours. You know you do. Everybody, they know they do. So be honest with everything that you do, and just start eliminating certain things that are kind of wastes of time. When you want to meditate, focus on your meditation. Nobody's going to make you any more spiritual than you allow yourself to be. So take more time. That's my message for today. In closing up today, the show is spend more time on your meditation. Spend more time on your spirituality. You will get what you give. However much energy you put into it, that will be what carries you around you and moving forward. And there's so many light workers that are scared to make that first step and go public with their gifts because they fear what people might think. Don't worry about that. People are always going to judge. People are always going to have an opinion. But this is your life, and you have to decide, is my journey more important than worrying about what everybody and their mama has to say? You know, I don't base my life on other people's thoughts or opinions. Everybody, I entitle them to their own thoughts and opinions as long as they pay their taxes like I do and everybody else is supposed to. Everybody's entitled to an opinion. But don't let people's opinions sway your judgment. Don't let people, make you be somebody that you're not. That's what I have to say today. And just keep going forward. Those of you that are working on your psychic ability and your spirituality, just keep going forward, and you will find members of your logical soul family. If you have members in your biological family that are not supportive of your spiritual gifts and abilities. So don't give up. Don't give up. As long as you've got a heartbeat, you've got a purpose. So just always remember that to everyone listening today.
That is very good advice, Christopher. And I've been reading in the chat room. I was listening to you and taking it on board. But Simon said, don't know what happened with my sound, but it refreshed itself. So it's sorted now. And he said, most weird and strange. Now, I know you bring your guides with you and spirit with you, but this is even, Angela said it's divine intervention. Simon says meditation is awesome, but this is wonderful. Margaretta, she said, during this show, my standing vacuum just fell over, even though it was standing perfectly stable and locked. I just thought you would like to know. I thought you'd like to know those comments, Christopher. And,
I do. I thank you for that.
I'd like to say thank you to everybody for joining us on today's Flying with Angels show. We look forward to seeing you at our next show. God bless you. Namaste, Linz and Rihanna. That's the picture I've got up at the moment. But I'd like to thank Simon for being Simon for being a wonderful guest. Oh, Simon. Simon, I'm really pleased that you are here, and because I got your name, Spirit are zooming in on you, Simon. So I hope you get on okay with your course tonight, and just know that Spirit are around you. So I'd like to thank Christopher very much for coming on the show today to celebrate his birthday, which he is years old. And actually, you're 38, aren't you? I had to work it out. 1979.
I think so. Some people have gotten the math wrong, myself included, but I think that's about accurate. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
38, 39. I know, well, you're younger than
I think it's 38, November 70. Yes, it's 38. I'm pretty sure. Yeah,
I had a job to work it out. My son's 42, so you're younger than my son. But it's
wonderful.
Lovely talking to you, and I'd like to say thank you very much for coming, and I hope you come back sometime. And it's been a pleasure to have you on, and you've given us a very interesting show, and lots of food for thought and laughs as well. So thank you very much, Christopher.
And I'm going to come back because we've already booked me in for next July, so I'm coming back on Flying with Angels in July. Which is kind of a funny story involving that, but that's going to celebrate the 1 year anniversary of the first time I came on. So we have that to look forward to next summer, which is going to be here before we know it.
I didn't realise that.
Lots of good.
Yeah, we will be, won't it? Yeah, because it was the 28th of July.
Will be.
And it was,
Yep.
you came on the 27th of July. Oh, yeah. But that was funny how that came about.
Right.
I didn't even realise I'd written 2018 to 2017.
I know, but Rihanna did, and that's how it all started. So I thought, don't cancel that. There's a reason why you put 2018. Let's just do it. Seal the date. I'll be there with my best tuxedo on. You can just imagine it.
Well, we need a photo for that then.
Yeah, I thought so. I figured. I always love coming on your show, and I will come back whenever you ask. I mean it, because I love the show, and like I'll always come back. I mean that with all my heart. Thank you for having me today. To all the listeners, I love you all so much for listening today, and I can't wait to come back.
You've got to come back anyway to do a show with Rihanna because she was really looking forward to the show today, and unfortunately she couldn't come, but she'll come to she'll be there for the next one. Yeah, so Angela says,
be wonderful. We'll look forward to it.
Fantastic show. So I'm glad you enjoyed it, Angela, and everybody, and I'm glad all your guides and angels have enjoyed it as well, because when we put this, what I like to visualise is there's us here on Earth, but up in the etheric realms, in a great big domed theatre, with with rounds. It's round with seats going round, and we are like sat in the centre of it having this conversation and putting this show not just out to Earth, it's going out to everybody in the universe and the heavenly realms. And we have got all these angels and spirit guides and friends and family seated around this great big hall in a circle, listening and enjoying the show too. And that's how I've always visualised the Cathies Distant Echo shows, the Flying with Angels shows.
It's a beautiful vision.
They come in to listen as well, and I know they have, because they've knocked over Margarita's Hoover. They fixed the sound for Simon without him doing anything. And they just think that must have been a huge cake, Christopher, because they all had some of that cake.
It was enormous. We'll all have to have gastric bypass surgery next week, but that's okay. We're going to enjoy cake today.
Yeah. So anyway, I'd just like to say thank you to Christopher and everybody that's come. That's Becca G, Simon, Margarita, and that's it, Christopher and me. But all the people that... Oh, yeah, Becca. That was who was missing, because I couldn't see her. And Becca. I'm so glad you made it, Becca. And we will chat soon. And thank you very much. Simon says good night, Linz, Christopher, Angela, Becca, Margarita, and Anonymous. And thank you all for joining us. And thank you for that, Simon. Simon's a big help for us, I'll tell you. He really is. That's why I had to give him a shout out. God bless you, Simon. Simon always helps with Anna and I. And he used to come to the shows with Cathy and help Cathy as well. She used to say, our Simon Swain is so savvy. Do you remember that, Simon? He's so savvy. He knows so much. Anyway, Christopher, it's lovely that you've been on. And Simon does remember that. So that's tickled him. Cathy was awesome. And anyway, that's the end of the show, everybody. And we'll say good afternoon and good evening to you all. And God bless you. And if there's anything else you'd like to say, Christopher, before you go, and then I will stop the recording.
No, everything was great. Thank you all for listening. I hope you all enjoy my Holidays in Heaven book, and I hope that you'll continue to listen when I come back on Flying with Angels again. I'm so glad to be back again today and looking forward to the next time already. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Lindsay.
Thank you very much, everybody, for coming, and thank you, Christopher. Thank you. You've been a marvellous guest. Thank you. Goodbye.